Hi, today's card I'm making is a business card holder. I'm making it for my sister's company. It features her company's colors and her owl logo and a cute little saying, "Let's chat." I chose this pattern paper because it looks rather like the feathers on an owl. Inside the card, you'll see that it has slits cut into the front, which will allow you to slide in a business card, and plenty of space on the inside for attaching extra comments or words or what have you, and of course the company logo stamped on the back. Okay, let's get started. These are the materials that I'm going to be using. In the Perpetual Bliss stamp set, I've used Let's Chat. You can, of course, substitute whatever you have available. In this die cut set called Dotted Circles, I used the third from the outside. And this makes a really nice circle with these dotted slashes all the way around, which added a lot of interest. I used the Stampin' Up banners set. I used the third, fourth, and the fifth banners from that. And these are the banners that I punched out with that. And I also have a strip of 2 inches by 5 inches of blue, your standard card base, 11 inches by 4 1/4, and a piece of pattern paper cut to 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Additionally, I'm using a Stampin' Up Owl punch. I'm using the punch to make the body of the owl, the vest of the owl, and I'll be punching 2 eyes out of white cardstock. Also, I'm using the Stampin' Up Bird Builder punch, but I'm only using the wing for this one. And you can substitute with any of these materials that you like. And I'm also going to be using a black distress marker to distress the edges and separate it a little bit to make it easier to see the colors, and also on the owl, as you can see on his little wings. The first thing to do is to make the slits in the front of the card for the business card. Make sure that you're holding the card with the front of the card facing up to the right, the left of the card, the back of the card, which is the left, and the scored side facing up. You will need to cut yourself a piece of paper of the same dimension as the folded card, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Take a pencil and make intersecting lines across the center, and then take your pencil and outline the business card in around that area, and then go out an additional 1/4 inch from the business card and make an additional line and connect the corners with diagonal lines as you see me doing here. You will then take an X-Acto knife and cut out the shape connecting the lines, and save that because you may need it later to recreate this template. And I went through that quickly, but now you have your template. Be sure that your cutting mat is able to be cut on. I'm using a special mat which allows me to cut on it, so you wouldn't want to mess up your table. So you just cut along the diagonal lines as you see me showing here. It's really very simple. It was harder to explain than to show. And make sure that your cutting mat can, as I said, that you can cut on it. All right, these are the materials that we have all ready to assemble. The first step is to take the black marker and outline along the edges of the pieces of the banner, the owl, the circle that you have cut. In addition to that, the blue strip, but not the pattern paper. Now let's just start assembling. I had to make sure that I'm holding my pattern paper the correct way so that the pattern is going the way I want it. Using my ATG gun, I'm gluing the large blue strip about 1 inch from the bottom of the paper, making sure to place it evenly and not crooked. If you get it wrong, you still have a few seconds to move it before you press it down. Next goes on the large blue banner, and that will be very close to the top. And I have my original card as a guide so I can see where I'm going here. Be sure that you put it on straight. And now the yellow. Additionally, the blue vest of the owl, I could have punched it from the left-hand side of the blue banner because this will be covered when I put the circle down. But I had a little extra piece of blue, so I just went ahead and punched it out from that blue. And now the smallest banner. You have to be a little careful of the placement because you want to ensure that once you bring your white circle in, that all the edges of the banner pieces of paper will be covered. And I got this a little crooked, so as you see, there's a little bit of forgiveness allowable with the tape. So I just pulled it off and moved it on properly. And when you put the circle on, make sure that you are mindful of the direction of the sentiment so that it goes on straight. I probably used a lot more tape than I needed to, but there was a lot of pieces of paper. I want to make sure that it stuck. Checking one more time to make sure that I have the words straight, and also that I've covered the edges of the banners. Now the owl, I want to make sure that he goes on there straight too. Usually I would punch this up with a little bit of foam tape, but I decided to just let him go straight down on the paper, and I drew him some eyebrows to give him a little personality. And if you didn't want the dark of the blue on the owl, you could of course grab any other color that's in your card. You could have used the yellow or the light blue. Because the owl has several parts, I decided to adhere him with the Tombow rather than tape because I didn't want to accidentally move his wings. And I'm being really careful not to move his eyes when I put him down. And the card is pretty much, the front is almost finished now. I just need to close the card up. This card base that I'm using doesn't have the slits in it, in case you noticed that. But believe me, I did put this together with the slit. And I adhered it with Tombow, but after I did it, I realized that I should have used tape and only along the edges because I inadvertently glued the slashes shut with the Tombow. So I recommend that you use your ATG gun and just focus on the outside so that you do not accidentally glue those things down like I did. But I used a Tombow because I knew that I could give it a little bit of adjustment at the end to make sure I got it straight. And the card is now finished. I decided that I wanted to sparkle his eyes a little bit with the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. And you could make some other changes here if you wanted. You could add bows or rhinestones or what have you, but I wanted this to be a very flat card. So I just went over the eyes with the sparkle pen, give it a good shake. And you can't really see it in the picture, but it added a lot of sparkle to the eyes, and it made him pop out a lot. So that's the card for today. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you feel confident enough to try it yourself. Thanks for watching. Take care.